this is my platform. This is my creative journey. This literally belongs to no one else. I'm not signed to nothing. I'm not like, no one has sponsored my entire life. I can literally do whatever I want. Like, this is not just a mantra you say so you can stay. I can for real do whatever I would like to do.
How do you know when it's time to pivot? What pivots have you had to make?
When I think I'm too late on something, by whose standards am I too late? Because I'm in this thing, it's me and God.
Because creativity for me is so spiritual. Sometimes I can't bring myself to do it when I'm not feeling good about myself. So I have to go back and like spiritually reset.
Yeah, you're not unlearning anything. Once you learn something, you know the information, it doesn't go anywhere. You are teaching yourself something to either replace that or to overshadow the thing you've learned. The things will come if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Living life, having experiences, sharing those experiences to someone else's benefit, inspiring someone. Like, these are the things you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be having 20,000 followers on Instagram. That's not a requirement for anything. Sometimes you literally cannot get past the feeling that you have that is keeping you from doing the thing. You just have to do it, even though you feel.
Yeah, this one is for the millennial who has a burning desire to create.
But you might think it's a little bit too late.
Let's go
Beneath the seams.
Life can be so complex. The human experience is far more expansive than what we can see, and we spend so much time just trying to figure it out. We put on makeup, nice clothing, and we go out into the world trying to hold it all together. When beneath those seams, we are being ripped apart. Some of the ripping is self-inflicted, some of it is because of the pressure of society, but all of it is limiting. Limiting in our quest to just simply be who we truly are. We're more complex than we give ourselves credit for. We fill our brains with popular sayings like, oh, it ain't that serious, loosen up, or just live a little. But life in itself is a deep, non-surface level experience, and sometimes it can be pretty serious. So often we force ourselves to only exist at the surface, never allowing ourselves to be fully exposed. We let the layers pile up until the pressure becomes too much to bear, and then we rip. Sometimes into shreds, and a lot of the times in silence. Beneath means to go below the surface, and seams are what are supposed to keep us joined together. Because we are taught, no matter what, you just have to keep yourself together. We create this image, never letting people in, never going beneath the seams. I don't know if we ever get the answers we expect from life, but I'm starting to find peace in the process of just figuring it out. Instead of forcing the complexities of this human experience to be hidden, let's peel back the layers and go beneath them. Beneath the Seams, a love letter to millennials who are just trying to figure it out. Beneath the Seams, the podcast, now available on all platforms. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Seams. This is the safe seat. This is the scene seat. This is the place where I let them in my business. Okay, I get all up in theirs, and we just have real, unapologetic, tough conversations that people don't be wanting to have. And the whole purpose and goal is for us to authentically expose our true selves so that we can live more freely. I feel like we be just tight, okay?
Yes. We love freedom around here.
So as y'all can see today, I'm not in the seat by myself, but I'm also on location. We're international. And I have a special guest with me, Imani, AKA Hopeless Romantic. And I like to introduce people my way, like my relationship for them. And then I'll let you introduce yourself in your own words, okay? So Imani is my creator friend, but the foundation of our relationship is we're Deltas. Imani is my big sister. She brought me into Delta. And so we met in college. So we've known each other, I don't know, we're not counting no more, years at this point.
Right.
And one thing that we have in common is that we both are creators.
Yes.
So what year, I want to know, we'll get into that, what year you started creating. I started in 2012. So I feel like we've been at it for the same amount of time now.
You know what? So really for real, like way back,
Okay.
I was always the girl with the digital camera on my wrist. I was always making little videos and stuff. I mean, I'm talking about from high school.
Same.
I was on, I went to a performing arts and magnet school, so my major was communications. I always had a camera, I always had a video camcorder, something like that. So I've been creating and posting to the internet since high school, like dead serious.
Nice.
But I started taking it seriously as something that I wanted to do consistently, probably around like 2000. 16, 17. I mean, I had been posting and stuff online, but not like as a here are these cool things that I want to show you guys kind of thing. And that's when my hair started becoming a thing that people that people were like really interested in, and my hairstyles and all that kind of stuff. So I'll say around between 16 and 18, I'll say.
Okay, so before we dive, because that's actually a good place to start. So that's who Imani is to me. And so I want you to introduce yourself in your own words, because you create for yourself, but then you also create professionally. I have a creative background too. I used to produce and work for BET and corporate and stuff like that, but you're still in like corporate creativity. Yes, so I just want to give you opportunity to say hey to my people. These are my people.
Okay. Hey, Kayla's people. Hopefully y'all be my people too by the end of this. My name is Imani Williams. I also go by the Hopeless Romantic, but I am also, I'm a beauty and lifestyle creator. I started as just a natural hair creator, and I have expanded my niche since then, because what is life if you can't pivot? I am also a corporate creator girly. I had worked for the Home Shopping Network as a associate producer. I produce most of their social and web content. And then I also get contracted out as myself, as my own entity, to do that for other corporations. And those people have me sign NDA, so I can't even tell y'all who. But y'all probably have been served at least 2 of my ads.
Okay, so now that we have the introduction out the way, Imani and I told y'all we are sorority sisters. So we are here in Mexico. We're in Cancun for a wedding. Yes. And so I was like, you want to shoot a podcast episode? And so that's the scene here. That's the backdrop. This is my first not in studio recording. So we're international.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into some creative talk. I have been on the wwws and the .coms posting content consistently since 2012. Absolutely. So I started a blog in college, and it transformed to so many things. Influencing when I used to live in New York, working in production, on the corporate, as we say, corporate creator side. And so I just need to be real with you, because this is beneath the scenes, and that's what we do. We peel back the layers. Absolutely. And we talk about how things aren't really what they seem. Absolutely. And so for me, I struggle a lot. I know imposter syndrome is a very trendy word right now online, but it doesn't take away from it being a real feeling. So I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or if it's more like self-doubt, but on my creator journey, sometimes I get this gut feeling, and I'm like, I just feel like I should be much further along. Like, why aren't things happening for me? Yeah. So I'm curious to know from you, where are you in your creator journey? Like, are you monetized? Like, what are your goals? And then what are some of your challenges, the things you get in your head about in regards to creating?
So I will say I absolutely agree that I have many, many times where I'm like, I'm this age, I see what this creator's doing, she's half my age, like how is she, not half my age, I ain't that old, but how is he or she, how are they already doing X, Y, and Z, or like what, and not even like a kind of why do they get to do, it's more like what are they doing so that I can do it, because I'm just as good as this person, or maybe, whatever. So I'm always wondering to myself what I could be doing differently to advance myself a little farther. But also, I'm constantly asking myself, what are your actual goals? Are you setting your goals based on what you see somebody else doing? Or are you setting your goals based on what you actually want to be doing? Because some of the stuff that influencing comes with is actually not stuff I'm interested in. And not in like that's too much, or like it's just not something that I'm interested in going hard about. I know what it takes to get there, and I'm not like really that pressed about it. Like I'm not really, but those things change too. Like 5 years ago, I might have been a little more pressed about my follower count. But right now, follower count is not really what I'm most focused on. I'm focused on enjoying the craft, because I want to be someone who is seen as creative and not as just, oh, she's an influencer, she can sell any of those things, she's really popular, I like watching her because of her personality. That's cool, but I want you guys to enjoy the things that I create, because I like the things that I create. So I am kind of tapping more on my artistic side. So still influencing kind of things, still conversation, still hair, still beauty, still lifestyle, but I want to do it in a more creative way, so that when people are asking me what I do, it's not just, I'm an influencer. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right. That's just not the summation of what I want to be known for.
I like that word.
That's a $5 word. Yeah.
So you mentioned when you were introducing yourself, you mentioned having to pivot. I recently, so I pivoted a lot. I started off creating, working with brands as it grew, going to the events and all of that. And then I pivoted into brand strategy, helping other people create their own content. I got really, really burnt out, miserable, borderline depressed, not borderline girl, depressed.
It'll do that.
Yes. And I was like, something is off. And so what y'all are witnessing in real time and in this new season of my life, it's me getting back to the things that I love about creating because I got so burnt out with trying to help other people that it was at the expense of my own creativity. I was helping clients, building this business, having a 6-figure year, all of those things, and I wasn't creating anything. And I realized that my love for creating is because I like to do it, not necessarily because I like to help other people do it. And I say that like that because I still take a client or two here and there. But if I'm being honest, I think this is the first time I'm going to say this out loud on the internet.
Heard it here first.
You heard it here first. I would really like to be in a space pretty soon where I don't have to take on clients anymore because I don't enjoy serving in that way. I enjoy this, right? Creating my own content. And so the point that I'm getting to is when you talk about pivot. So I pivoted from creator to brand strategist, and now I'm kind of pivoting back to being my own brand. What pivots have you had to make and how significant have they been? Like, how do you work through it? Because I be having a conundrum in my mind when it's time to pivot. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't get back to doing this. Serving clients makes me money. And like, I almost self-sabotage in a way. So I'm curious to know, like, how do you know when it's time to pivot? What pivots have you had to make?
I have adopted the attitude that I can do whatever I want. Like that is just what I have to keep reminding myself. This is my platform. This is my creative journey. This literally belongs to no one else. I'm not signed to nothing. I'm not like, no one has sponsored my entire life. I can literally do whatever I want. Like, this is not just a mantra you say so you can stay. I can for real do whatever I would like to do. So whatever I like to do, that's what I'm doing. And the audience that loves that or that is intrigued by that, they stick around. People who don't want to see it, they leave. That's okay. I've gotten like 3,000 new followers over the last month, mostly because I pivoted into instructing, into tutorials of how to create things. And I do like to teach. I do. I don't like to one-on-one teach as much because it's a lot.
You don't want to do what I've been doing.
No, and I did that for a little while too, like during the pandemic when we couldn't go anywhere. I was doing Zoom calls and like helping people with it. But I like to teach. I like to make things make sense for people. I love to see the light bulb go off or for somebody to be like, I never heard anybody say it like that. And now that you said it like that, I get it. I can now take that information and do what I want with it. So that's been a little bit of a pivot. I pivoted from natural hair content into showing other things about my life that I wanted to share. And it was literally just because I wanted to. It was just like, hair content is cool, but I want to do other things. And then I was like,
do you deal with any doubt or, hesitation when it's time to pivot, or you are very confident and like, I'm just going to do?
What is the hesitation? And I'm asking you, what specifically when you say, am I dealing with any hesitation? What are the hesitations that you deal with?
Sometimes I feel like it's too late for me. Oh, girl, I'm putting y'all all in my business.
No, this is real.
I know. Sometimes I feel like it's too late for you to like take this path seriously because the space is already filled. Like the girls who are the girls are already the girls, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm that girl too, and I believe that. But when you are used to making money a certain way, and you are socialized and conditioned and raised that this is what a real job is and this is what a real living looks like, it's hard to see outside of that and you being able to make you money, literally.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think because this is my 12th year creating content, like, okay, God, if you wanted me to be doing this, I would be further along by now. And so I get in my head about like, is this even the right trajectory? What keeps me coming back is because I literally can't live without it.
And that's the thing. I think you are limiting God on this. It is, and we do this.
Why don't you?
I asked you that question specifically because these are how I have had to unlearn, or not even unlearn, because I don't think it's even really possible to unlearn something. You teach yourself something else that like overshadows the thing that because you already know it. You have the information. You didn't unlearn it.
Right there. That was good.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. Sometimes people drop a gem and you just so in your bag that
Let's
you
sit
keep
on
going.
it. Let's
You
sit
got to
with
sit
that.
right. Please say it again. That was so good
You don't-
because unlearning is also trendy.
Yes, and you don't unlearn a thing. My therapist actually told me this. You're not unlearning anything. Once you learn something, you know the information doesn't go anywhere. You are teaching yourself something to either replace that or to overshadow the thing you've learned first. So I have had to ask myself when I think I'm too late on something, by whose standards am I too late? Because I'm in this thing, it's me and God in this thing. So if everything in God's timing, I'm not late by anybody's standards but my own. I have made this up in my life because I'm watching somebody else and what they're doing, and I'm 35 and this person did it when they were 12 or whatever the case may be. That's cool, but when they were 12, I was 25. So we were starting at different points because we had different information, different resources, or whatever the case may be. I can't judge my journey by their journey. So no, I'm not late. I'm moving at the trajectory that God intended for me to move because, again, I'm learning. Step by step, I'm receiving more information, more resources, more connections. So 5 years ago, I maybe couldn't have done what I'm trying to do right now because I did not have those things. I didn't have those connections. And maybe 5 years ago, I thought maybe I should have more of this by then. That didn't serve me back then either. So now you literally just have to start at where you're starting. And think about it from there.
Because I feel like I'm starting over again.
And you are.
Because I feel like I was on the trajectory. I feel like I was ahead of the curve. I was creating before it was even a thing. Even in those early days, you and I would
feel with natural hair. Like I feel like a lot of the girls that were really big, I was doing it before them, but I didn't know what to do back then. And so I had to I just had to stop thinking about by comparison, I think. And it's just, what do I want to be doing? And if it calls for me to start over, that's just what I have to do.
Then so be it.
Because if I don't start over, I'm just going to keep doing the thing that I'm doing now, and I don't like the thing that I'm doing now.
That's good.
So
when do you ever get in creative funks?
Absolutely.
How do you navigate those? How do you pull yourself out of it? Like, what keeps you creating when one of my really good friends just asked me recently, I was venting to her about how I feel like I'm doing it, I'm focused, I'm consistent, and I'm just not seeing the results that I desire. And she was like, let's have a real conversation about it. She was like, I see it too. She was like, I'm your friend, I know you personally, but I follow you. I see how you show up, and I see that the growth, the vanity metrics don't really hit how you would like them to. And so she was like, it makes me sad. And so I'm asking you, like, how do you keep going? How do you stay encouraged when things feel dim?
Yeah.
And so for you, because creativity for me is so spiritual, sometimes I can't bring myself to do it when I'm not feeling good about myself. So I have to go back and spiritually reset.
Yes.
So when you get in your funks, how do you navigate that?
That's
because
exactly it.
you got the answers today. So
No,
tell me.
You answered your own question.
Okay.
That's exactly what I do. Creativity, like you said, we're not on an assembly line. Like, we're not robots. We are people who have experiences, and we create from those experiences. So if my current experience is not allowing me to create something upbeat and fun or whatever I think I need to be creating, I create whatever I'm in the mood for at the time. Maybe I don't share those things, or maybe I'm not in the mood to create anything at all. That's okay. Like, you're a human being. You're not a machine who is supposed to pump out something. That's where I have let go of those vanity metrics. I'm really for real, and I don't know if this is good all the time, but I'm really in a space where if the things will come if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. What you're supposed to be doing is living life, having experiences, sharing those experiences to someone else's benefit, inspiring someone. Like, these are the things you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be having 20,000 followers on Instagram. That's not a requirement for anything. For what? You know what I mean? So when it comes down to those vanity metrics, those things help you do other things, but even those things are not necessarily what you're supposed to be doing. But they are intertwined in a way that when you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, at some point, those things find you. The money will find you. The followers will find you. The audience will find you. And if you have to keep kind of tweaking how you do those things to kind of better invite those other things in, then that's what you do. But on those days when you're in a funk and it's not feeling like, I just don't feel like, you batch create ahead of time, you post what you got, and then you nurse yourself spiritually back to where you need to be to create.
Yeah.
Because that's all you can do.
Yeah. I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on, like, what would you say to somebody who may be dealing with the comparison and just really, I always say when you have like this burning desire in your heart, I literally could not function. I became physically ill without this podcast. Like, it haunted me. It would not, the idea, it just would not let me, it just wouldn't let me rest. I believe that God gives you creative abundance, because like that's the first thing God tells us about him, is that he was a creator. That's the first thing that he did in the Bible, was he created. And so if we are made in his image,
that's what we are
I
here for.
feel we are innately creators as well.
100%.
But I feel like we let so many of outside forces suppress our creativity, and we just don't put stuff out into the world. So what would you say to somebody who is trying to get over that hump and really put their shit out?
That's what I would say. I'm not even joking. I'm a very straightforward.
You are.
And I have to think that way too. If it's something that I want to do and I can't do it, why not? Like, why can't you do it? What is holding you back from doing it? If it's something like, oh, I'm just nervous, oh well, you'll be nervous. Hit send. Like, do it nervous, do it scared, do it where if you're in a space and you're just, I don't know if I should be doing this, do it and figure out if you should be doing it. If you shouldn't be doing it, it'll tell you, and then you can do something else after that. But you will never figure out whether or not you should be doing something. You'll never figure out if you can do something if you do not just do it. And so whatever feelings come along with that, sometimes you can't get over the feeling. Like, and don't gaslight yourself into thinking you can. Sometimes you literally cannot get past the feeling that you have that is keeping you from doing the thing. You just have to do it, even though you feel inadequate, even though you feel like this is kind of silly, even though you feel like nobody's going to watch this if I post it. You know how many times I felt like that, and that's the piece of content that went viral just because I just decided to post it? Like, you're not going to get past all of the negativity all the time. You just have to tell yourself that that's coming from outside of you. You just said that. You were like, you're dealing with, outside forces, and that's it. They're outside of your body. They're not inside of your body. You feel like they are, but they're not. What's inside of your body is the creativity that needs to get outside. So
we talked. First of all, we need to talk more often, because we used to talk.
We did,
especially on the creative tip. Because in this season of my life,
and it was really helpful for me. I will say that.
And I feel really lonely because I've pivoted back.
Friend.
I need more creator friends. Like, I feel lonely in that area. Like, I have friends. Like, I'm a girl's girl. I have so many different friend groups. But one of the places in my life where I feel a little bit of a void right now is in my creator friend group. So I feel like I have community in certain areas in my life, but that is where it's really lacking, because to be creative, we're different. And I believe that everybody's creative in some way. But
absolutely.
in the way that we're a different breed of people. And so it takes a specific person to really get us. And since I've pivoted out of brand strategy back into focusing on my own brand, I just don't have those people that I can call and really, like, I don't know. I just, like, that's why I said I led this by saying we need to talk more, because we used to. And so I remember when we used to talk more, you were talking about needing help and just simply asking for help, and how we don't do that. And for me in this season, sometimes needing that help is like, hey, can we be friends?
Yes,
can
for
you
real.
help me by being my friend?
Yes.
And even just like believing that people love me. I have a hard time. I need to be in therapy. I know.
Hold my hands.
Shut up.
I'm serious.
This is so
serious.
I know that I am loved. But sometimes, because of, you're not going to make me cry, Imani.
I am.
Sometimes because of the way that I show up, I don't know. I question, like, if I'm coming off in the wrong way sometimes. Like, do they genuinely love me? Like, I know you, like, surface level love me, but do you really, like, fuck with me at my core? I've never dropped an F-bomb on the pod, but here we are.
It was needed.
And so even, for example, like, we have, shout out to Jocelyn and Serena behind the camera helping us produce the show today. But even me, like, asking them to help, and the way that they just showed up and got it done, I was sitting here like, I hope I'm not bothering them. I hope I'm not, like, we're on vacation. Like, I hope I'm not imposing on them taking 40 minutes to help me shoot a podcast when they can be doing whatever they want to do on vacation. But I'm watching them do it, and they into it.
And that's exactly, like, what we were talking about too.
To help me. Yes. I genuinely feel like they're happy to help me. But I don't know that I would have ever truly asked. Everything happened organically the way it did. But if they weren't here, I would have just set this up and did it myself and figured it out. But they've been such a big help. So when we used to talk about it, you were saying how once you called me, you felt better. what is it? Why don't we ask for help? What is your look, now put my therapy. What is your relationship like with help?
No, because
Help,
we
Imani.
did this in therapy, and it was a thing, okay? Because this doesn't have anything to do with me being a creator. This is my general disposition is I don't like to burden people, and I do a lot by myself on my own, which sometimes people will make you feel like you should be proud of that, and you should. Like there are a lot of things you can do on your own. You do them very well. Excellent. But we are a communal people, okay? There's no reason you should do everything on your own. Not a single reason why everything you do needs to be by yourself, alone, whatever. But you do start to feel like if I don't have a lot of friends who do this thing that I do, asking people who don't do this thing to help me with it, it's too much. They are gonna not like it. They're not gonna enjoy it. They're gonna be like, oh my God, you gotta take 17 pictures before we sit down. But you know what? I don't have to take 17 pictures if you take 5. If you just stand there and take the 5 pictures I tell you to take, we can sit down.
If you just
and that's really how I am. Yes.
Help me instead of being like, about it.
But I have really had to surround myself with people who are excited to help me do things. And that's hard because where you have to start is saying, hey, can you help me with this? Or I have this idea, but it's going to be really hard for me to do this on my own. And sometimes people will say, girl, I don't know nothing about that. I don't want to help you with that. Cool. Move on to the next person you ask. But sometimes it'll make you feel like I'm never asking anybody for help ever again because this person didn't want to help.
Yeah.
But I've become so efficient in the things that I do because when I ask for help, I need to give that person exactly the directive I need them to do just in case they're not excited to help me.
Yeah.
Or they say, okay, I know how to do this, but I'm not really sure I know how to do that. I have directives. It's cool. I know exactly what you need to help me with.
Here's your shot
I have
list.
my shot list. Yes, I'm dead serious. Hold this here, pan to the left. I know what I need to do when I get in front of the camera, and we're done.
Yeah.
So, but it does help to have people in your circle who do what you do.
Who just, like,
you don't
how
have
we're
to
able
explain.
tag team this trip. I'm like, I'll take your content. Like, I don't care. We can stand out here and get it till it's got.
Absolutely.
Okay, and once we get it, go back and get some more.
Exactly.
So, I just feel like get the content, girl. Get whatever it is. So, yeah.
But and I'll say, since I've become more active in like shooting content in Tampa, my content is reaching people in Tampa.
Nice.
And they're reaching out like, hey, can we have a content day? And I mean this with all the love in my heart. I don't mean to sound any kind of way when I say this. But sometimes it's people who are not really that good at content who want me to help them get content.
That's important.
And I can
the
do
Bible
that.
Says iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So you need to be around other iron.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's mean to say. Yes, you're like with those people, I think it's good. Like, okay, I'll just help you. If they just help them, so that can be your way of helping somebody else come up. But in terms of having a really creative content day, I do believe that we need to be equally yoked in terms of understanding how to do that. Otherwise, it doesn't really benefit you.
And that's also not a friendship. Sometimes, like people are reaching out. Yeah, some people are reaching out. Well, let's hang out and blah blah blah. They want to have a content day. That's cool. We can shoot content. But we haven't done anything to actually build a friendship.
That's
like
good.
you want to meet up to shoot content, and that's cool. Like we content friends. But we are friends. You and I are friends. I can call you and talk about content, but also share something personal with you. I can say,
like how I was able to know your secret at the wedding yesterday.
Yeah. But
we'll move along.
Okay.
We'll have you back for part 2 to talk about the men folk, honey.
Oh God, girl, we'll be here all week. But I can tell you something personal. I can tell you something personal in relation to the content. I can tell you what I'm struggling with in the content, and you can say, "Well, have you tried this or whatever?" Because you know more about certain things than I do. I know more about certain things than you do. We can shed light on those. This to me is like the ideal creator friendship. Somebody that I'm close to outside of content, but also very close to, and I can be vulnerable in my content journey. Like I can say, I'm not really feeling like this kind of creator, and I would like to be this kind of creator. Like, what can I? And you can flat out say to me, well, you don't be doing that. Like you don't. When have you ever done that? And I'll be like, you know what? You're right. I didn't do that.
That's so good because now I can be more specific about my prayer. I feel like the specificity of the prayer really matters. And so I've been wanting more community and creative friends, but I like the way you just broke it down because I'm a very deep, introspective person and relationships matter to me beyond the surface. So my refined prayer is I don't just want creator friends, but I want friends that I can be vulnerable and intimate with who also happen to understand the creator space. That was good.
And maybe this conversation is God tapping you on the shoulder saying you are not using the resources you have. Me included. Like I also have not been using the resources I have. I don't ask for help when I should. we have not talked in a while.
Yeah.
And I have a few other friends that I used to talk to a lot about these kinds of things. And do you think, okay, because I think this is something I experienced. Do you think sometimes there's a little bit of shame associated with that keeps you from talking to certain people about certain things creator wise? Because I do have some creator friends, and I know when I talk to them, they are going to tell me, I'm glad you said that, because the last time we talked, you said you wanted to do X, Y, and Z, and I haven't seen you do that yet. So why not? And sometimes I think when I'm in that space where I'm not really feeling so confident, or I don't want nobody to hold me accountable, like I just want to cry about what I'm not doing yet.
I think it's good to have the friends who, because I always say, all right, I'm gonna hear you vent, and what do you need from me right now?
Exactly.
Do you need the accountability? Do you need me to vent with you, or do you
Mhm.
need to just get it out? And based on your answer, because you're right. Sometimes we need to be like, you ain't do it. Like me, I'm talking about. Well, I feel like I've been creating content for 12 years now, and I just haven't gotten where I wanted to get. But it's like, Kayla, you've been back in this phase of creating
For 5 minutes. Like, please give yourself some grace.
Shut
It's
up.
okay.
Yeah. So I think you just need to be able to talk to the right person with the right emotional the right amount of emotional intelligence
That's true.
to know what you need and when and how to give it to you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, because I do think this is spiritual, sometimes you do just want to cry because it weighs on you in that way. Like, to me, this shit is bigger than just posting online. Like,
Yeah.
it's a part of my being, it's a part of my self-expression. And furthermore, I truly feel gifted, and this is a vessel that God will use using me to help people. I truly believe that, specifically with this platform, with the podcast. So yeah. Okay, so we got a little deep. Let's have a little fun.
Yeah.
Let's play a game.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna play this or that creator edition.
Okay.
No. Yes. We're gonna play this or that creator edition, and then we're gonna do one gotta go creator edition.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Before we jump into the game, I want to ask you just a pop-up question. What are your favorite? I saw a video of you in the gym one day, and you were like other people in the gym, and it was like trap music playing, and you were like me in the gym, and it was like a horror podcast playing.
Absolutely.
I was weak.
Yes.
And so I always like to know from creators, what's your favorite types of content to consume that's outside of your niche or what you create about?
I am a true crime girl. Okay, down. Always have been. I watch Dateline. I listen to Sisters Who Kill. Love them. I'm going to listen to those things. I'm really fascinated. Like, this is not my niche at all, but this is something that is deeply fascinating to me. Just in the personal, I'm really like fascinated by people. So hearing about crazy things that people did, like bad things that people have done, and maybe getting some background on why they would have done that or what circumstances brought them to that. And maybe a lot of times people do things just because they do them. And that's crazy to me. Like, you ain't have nothing, you didn't have a bad childhood or anything. You just wanted to kill somebody, so you did. So and that's so dark. But I'm so fascinated by those kinds of things and those stories, and humanizing the people who do these wildly terrible things. I love cults. Like, there's something so interesting to me about people who get into those kinds of things. Like, what was the thing that they said that made you want to join this thing? That had y'all drinking and eating these, I don't know. So that's my thing. I would never do true crime content ever, but
yeah, right.
I want to consume it nonstop. I love it.
Okay, well, before we head to the pool party and dinner and all of the other things we have to do because we are on vacation. I just want to hear anything else you want to share. What's next for you in your creative journey? What are you looking forward to? Just your moment to have your time to close us out.
I am so excited about another pivot. I'm going to become the pivot queen. I'm really liking my space on my platforms where it's beauty and lifestyle and finding more creative ways to showcase that. But I'm hoping that those things lead to other opportunities where I'm not talent, where I can produce something for someone else, where I can creative direct a few projects. I would love to get into TV and film. That my background is in public relations, so I'm starting all of this from scratch. I learned a lot of stuff from YouTube. So I would like to get into TV and film. I might want to write at some point. Writing is like my first love. So I might want to write for a show or something. I don't know, but I'm going to get there.
Yeah. I love it.
And I'm going to use my own content to like help propel me there. But I want to slide into some more of those spaces and learn a lot more.
Well, in the spirit of putting things out into the air, because you put it on this pod and we'll have a chance to look back at this footage when it happens, I'm going to join you by saying, I want to dive into hosting.
Yes.
Like, I love having these types of conversations, and I want to be able to facilitate fireside chats and conferences and conversations around this type of stuff. And I want to be, so you're trying to get more behind the camera, I'm trying to get more in front of it.
Yeah.
And so I always say, if Oprah and Wendy Williams had a baby, it would be me.
I see that so I see that.
Yeah, I'm really tapping into, building things around my voice, because I really do believe it's one of the many gifts that God has given me.
You have such a unique viewpoint that you do a good job of explaining and like putting it out there. I want to say you're one of the more fearless people I know as far as like being vulnerable. And I really appreciate that about you. And I want to make sure I amplify that and say that and give you that as you use that to encourage yourself. Like we see it. We see that. We want to hear more of that. So even when the algorithm is not pushing that content, because a lot of these things happen by chance. Like let's be real about it. Like the algorithm changes every week. So some of it is not just you're not doing enough, you're not, whatever. It's just that today wasn't your day for content.
Right.
So, but we see that. We see your voice. We hear you. We want to see more of that. However that happens for you, like I'm 100% behind it, and anything I can do to help, I
receive it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Imani.
Of course.
You for taking time out of your vacation.
I'm happy I
to
did.
sit here and have this conversation.
Yes, this was fun.
Yes, this was really good. Yeah, and we're gonna stick to it. We're gonna practice what we preach and we're gonna talk more.
Well, we don't do pinky promise.
We don't do
I'm
anything
so sorry.
pinkies.
I'm so sorry.
That was crazy.
Wow, that was crazy. Edit that out.
Edit it out. It's crazy. It's staying in, so y'all can know we're gonna do pinkies. So thank you again for joining me. And listen, wherever you are in your journey, wherever you are in life, when it comes to creativity, your ideas, putting yourself out there, just believing in yourself, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, my prayer for you, my wish for you is that you just simply find peace in the process of just figuring it out.
Yes.
That'll do it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.